So in Scooby Doo on Zombie Island, our antagonist seems to be Simone and Lena and basically the Werecats in general. But in the film, when we see their history, we see that they start off as just, normal settlers, and they became evil when the majority of their people were killed by pirates who came and invaded their homeland. So killing those pirates, I wouldn't do it, but I kind of understand it at least. They also killed Confederate soldiers and tourists, which I guess that's understandable as well. And then Mystery Incorporated is invited to their island. They show up, they ruin the garden, they terrorize the pets, and they absolutely destroy their kitchen. So all this goes to say, are we really sure that the Werecats are the antagonists of this film? Yeah, no. They're definitely evil. Hello everybody. Welcome back to yet another video. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the 1998 film Scooby Doo on Zombie Island. Scooby Doo on Zombie Island is the 5th Scooby Doo movie in my list of Scooby Doo movies that I'm reviewing in order of release. If you'd like to see the rest of those videos, make sure you subscribe for the future ones, and you can also check out the playlist in the description of this video to see the previous ones. But anyways, without any further ado, let's get into the review. So, Scooby Doo Zombie Island is widely regarded as one of the best, if not the best, Scooby Doo films ever made. And personally, I have to agree with that. I think that it's an amazing Scooby Doo movie. It's by far the best of the ones I've seen on rewatch, and just there's so much about this film that is amazing to me. First of all, the animation style is amazing. I love this animation style. It's classic. This is classic Scooby Doo animation for me. This, Witch's Ghost, and what else came around this time period? Cyber Chase, and Alien Invaders, and all of those. That type of animation style in this type of movie, that's my personal favorite. These ones all came about either just before or just after I was born, so I think that's why I find it the best animation style. I don't know if that's why, but yeah, this is my favorite of the animation styles for sure. I just think it's so nostalgic for me to see this type of animation style, and I love it. I think even without the nostalgia, I think that it's really well animated, especially for 1998. So moving on from the animation style, something else that I think is really well done is the sound design / score / music. I think that it does a really good job of setting the tone of spooky, scary, creepy, just all of that in general unease it makes you feel. Additionally, there's 2 different montages that use songs that have words to them and stuff, and I really like both songs. So the first montage occurs right near the beginning of the film, where we're in a flashback and we see the gang getting chased by this swampy looking monster, this green monster. So in this opening scene, the song choice is fantastic because they use the Scooby Doo Where Are You theme song. And that's probably my favorite of the Scooby Doo theme songs. I think it's fantastic. It's the one that I grew up watching the most because, like I said, it came out around this time, and I was kind of right when I was getting born and when I was watching Scooby Doo 24/7, so I'm really invested in this song. I think that it's the best of the Scooby-Doo theme songs. What's New Scooby-Doo is pretty good as well, but Scooby-Doo Where Are You is my personal favorite, and I thought it fit really well. It's such a great scene, such a great song choice, and I really love that montage. And the second montage, I'm just actually realizing now that there's 3 montages, I misspoke before. The second montage takes place when the gang is trying to find real monsters and just keep unraveling fake monsters. I'm going to talk more about this later, but I really liked the song choice there because if you listen to the lyrics, it's basically just making fun of Scooby-Doo and all the tropes and stuff. I really liked that because it plays into a lot of what this movie's trying to do. Again, I'll talk about that after I finish up this point, but the third montage uses same kind of thing where it's talking about how the monsters are real, how they're scary. And again, I really like that. The song choice in all 3 of those montages worked very well for me. So I hinted at it when I was talking about the music, but the thing that this film is most highly regarded for, and something that I think it does really well, is riffing on Scooby-Doo and basically revamping it so that it's not, Scooby-Doo's never stale, but it breaks the formula, and it breaks it in a fantastic way. You all know, if you're watching this video, you've probably seen some sort of Scooby-Doo media before. You guys all know the tropes of Scooby-Doo. The gang goes to a mystery. They start looking for clues, they get chased around a little bit, they look for more clues, they set a trap, they trap the monster, and it turns out it's like the real estate agent, or it's the creepy guy that they found, or it's someone trying to get land. Just like in general, like we all know the tropes. And the film, it starts off with Daphne, she's tired of the tropes. Like, I really like that. I think that Daphne is a fantastic character in this film. Personally, I like this adaptation of Daphne more than like the original Daphne, if that makes sense. Like, most of the time she's like damsel in distress. She can be pretty badass sometimes, but most of the time she's just like along for the ride. I really like that she's like wants real monsters, and she's got her own TV show, and she's trying to like prove that monsters are real. And it's very like counter to Velma, who's always like, no, these monsters, there's a rational explanation. Daphne like seeks the thrill of mystery solving in this film, and I really, really like that. I think it's a very refreshing take on her character, and it's a refreshing take on the Scooby-Doo as a whole, but especially her character is very well done. And as we move on with the film, I talked about how in that first montage where the gang's all, like, they're looking for a real monster, that's what the point of Daphne's show is. And basically each of these different mysteries that they solve within the montage, there's like a bat creature, there's a crab, there's a ghost, there's like 5 or 6 of them. And each one of those is basically an episode of a Scooby-Doo show or a Scooby-Doo movie. And they're just all glossed over because, like, we've seen it all before. And I'm not complaining. I love seeing Scooby-Doo. I love that formula. That formula is what I fell in love with. But this movie tries something different. They make fun of that formula. They don't make fun of the formula, sorry. They point out that, hey, this formula is a little repetitive. Let's give you something new. And they definitely delivered on that. So this film does include real monsters, which isn't necessarily unique because in Boo Brothers we saw ghosts, in Reluctant Werewolf we saw a whole ton of monsters, same with in Ghoul School we also saw a ton of monsters, but in this film it's different. And the big difference is that it's treated like a horror. And in the previous 3, all the monsters and ghosts are kind of comedic, like you're never really scared of them. Maybe you're scared of Revolta, or maybe you're scared of Dracula a little bit, but for the most part, you're not scared of the ghosts in those films. But in this film, like I said, the music really creates a tone. The cinematography creates this tone as well. It's scary, and it's intended to be scary. Sure, there's still some comedic stuff. Sure, it's still got the same lighthearted Scooby-Doo feel, but it's pretty creepy as well. Like, the zombies, their souls, just like those green circles as they materialize and they just like get built from bones. It's really creepy how they rise from the ground. And then the cat people, how they transform into these creepy cats at midnight. It's pretty creepy, and you're supposed to be scared of these monsters. And the monsters being real and being scary is another thing that makes this film so fantastic, because a lot of the time in Scooby-Doo, like, in the Scooby-Doo shows and movies, you go to expect pulling up a mask, you find that person, and the mystery's over. But in this one, that moment happens halfway through the film, when Fred and Daphne and Scooby and Shaggy try to pull off the mask of a zombie, and just the head rips off. And that's like such a defining moment for this film, because the monsters are real, and the gang doesn't know what to do. Like, this is completely new territory, and I love that there's real monsters. We get to see how their mystery solving is affected by real monsters. And by the way, they keep real monsters, but unlike the Boo Brothers / Ghoul School / Reluctant Werewolf, where there's no mystery, there's still a mystery to unsolve here, because they have to figure out, why are these zombies haunting? Who are the zombies? The zombies, why are they like not actually hurting them? What's with the were people or cat people, whatever you want to call them? And just, there's so many mysteries that they have to unravel. And it's a really good blend between the typical mystery solving, mask pulling Scooby-Doo and this new scary horror Scooby-Doo. And I think that they blended that very well. So in general, this movie is amazing. It's a new, fresh take on the Scooby-Doo genre. It kind of plays with the tropes, but it doesn't do it in a way where it makes fun of them, because that's just dumb. People love Scooby-Doo. We like the tropes, so don't roast the tropes, like, you know what I'm saying? This movie doesn't do that. It plays with them, it kind of teases at them, but it does it so lightheartedly, and it doesn't try to bash on previous Scooby Doo stuff or future Scooby Doo stuff, and I really like that it does that. It has a fresh take, but doesn't try to throw it in your face that it's better than the original. Because, well, yes, this is fantastic, it's an amazing take and fresh take on Scooby Doo. We all still love Scooby Doo, the original stuff, and we love that formula, and I'm glad they didn't make fun of it. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say. I was rambling a lot here. I didn't even look at my notes for like 10 minutes straight just because I just love talking about this film. I have a lot to talk about this film, and it's just so great. It's an amazing, it's a work of art. This is peak Scooby Doo. This is amazing. If I had to pick some like negatives about it, like this is very nitpicking, but the voodoo dolls, their use is kind of inconsistent because sometimes they're getting kicked around, but Fred, Velma, Daphne, and the gardener, they're not actually getting pushed around, they're just kind of like, it's a little inconsistent, but to counter that, I thought that the voodoo dolls, again, super creepy, and like, when their faces are melting when Scooby accidentally kicks the voodoos into like a torch, that is terrifying. Like, I actually thought they were gonna melt when I first watched this as a kid. It's super dark, and I really like that. I really like the voodoo dolls. It's super cool, and yeah, just in general, I really like them. They are a little inconsistent though, so if I am forced to look at negatives, that is a negative. And the only other negative I have about this film is it's too short. I wanted to see more of this film. I wanted to see more of this world that they created. Yes, I know that there's a sequel. I haven't actually watched the sequel yet, so don't spoil it, please. But yeah, it's only 77 minutes long. I would have liked to see more of it. I really think it could have been, it felt like a 90-minute movie. Like, it doesn't feel short. The plot just goes from scene to scene to scene, and every scene is necessary. And I feel like they could have expanded on it. I would have liked to see more of it, but like, if one of my only negatives about your film is that I wanted to see more of it, I think you're doing pretty good for yourself. So yeah, as I get into the rating here, I'm gonna give this film, I don't think it's any surprise, a 10 out of 10. I love this film. It's a fantastic Scooby Doo film. It's a fantastic film in general. It's amazing. Go watch it if you haven't already. And also, if you haven't watched it already, make sure to check out the other reviews in this series. The last review that I did was Scooby Doo and Arabian Nights. You can check that out on screen right now. And the playlist to all of the reviews so far is in, like I said, the description of this video, so you can check that out as well. If you want to subscribe and see more of my videos, make sure you do that, like the video if you did like it. Next week I'm going to be reviewing Scooby Doo and the Witch's Ghost, so make sure you stay tuned for that. That'll be releasing at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time on Monday. So yeah, if you want more updates on my videos, make sure to check out my Instagram, ntd_films. Thank you guys all for watching, and have a good day.